All right. So RFK rolled out the new food pyramid, and it's much, much better, but it's also hilarious. And the reason it's hilarious is because it's basically the exact same thing that South Park did. And I want to say their Ozempic special. Uh, they literally just took the triangle and flipped it upside down, which is exactly what they did in the South Park episode. Um, yeah, this is a much better setup uh, as far as getting people healthy. It's still not fantastic, but it's probably as good as you're going to get for a one size fits all. Because what one size fits all means is that it's okay for most people, but not right for 30 to 40%. So, but it's much better. Like from a function standpoint, from a what we have to eat in the United States, it's a much better option. We're really not going to get there until we quit lying to people about how the body works. Yeah, I make this a calories thing. Um, it's hilarious to me how little people understand metabolic biochemistry. The idea that a carbohydrate so that a fat is 225% more energy productive than a carbohydrate is completely stupid. It's 100% wrong. You get the exact same amount of ATP production from glucose that you do from lipolytic function. So fats and sugars produce the exact same amount of ATP. If you want to double the ATP, you go to ketones. This is why ketogenic diets are so much better for epilepsy and brain-based issues, because your brain requires tons of ATP. You go to ketones, you get twice as much ATP, twice as much ADH, twice as much of everything, energy-wise, from a ketonic state than you do from either fat or from sugar. But again, fat and sugar, glycolytic and lipolytic ATP production yields the same amount of ATP. So, this is one of those things. I keep telling you guys, the medical system, again, NIH, CDC, FDA, WHO, they're trying to keep you sick, fat, and depressed. So that's what's going on. So they're telling you, don't eat the fat, especially don't eat saturated fat. Saturated fat's what your entire body is made out of. Your brain, your cholesterol, all that stuff. Oh, by the way, cholesterol is super important for you. It's what makes all your hormones, all your steroid hormones, which, again, the body doesn't run in calories. It basically runs through hormonal function. So, oh, you're hungry? That's ghrelin. Oh, you're full? That's leptin. Oh, your body's storing fat? That's insulin. Oh, your body's using, protein to create sugars to run your body using fat? Oh, that's glucagon. Oh, hey, check that out. That's how these things actually work. And by the way, this is the other one I love about the whole calorie thing. Sugar has a direct path to fat. Sugar goes in, glucose goes up, insulin goes up, glucose goes to storage. Glycogen, muscles, liver, and then turns to fat. Fiber, which is a carbohydrate, still saying it has 4 calories, by definition, never gets into your body. It doesn't get absorbed, so it never gets in your body. Remember, what goes in your mouth isn't going in your body. It has to be absorbed through the intestinal lining into your bloodstream before it's technically in your body. So fiber, by definition, never gets in your body, but it's still a carbohydrate worth 4 calories. Sugar, also worth 4 calories, and sugar is a direct path to fat. Protein is massively pathological according to how, if it was to turn into fat. So protein would have to be digested into amino acids, run through gluconeogenesis to produce sugar, and then produce so much sugar that it requires an insulin response to then push that sugar into storage. But again, muscles, liver, then creation of fat. But here's the thing. Insulin, to store it, shuts off gluconeogenesis so that you don't turn protein into fat. So it's pathological that protein would ever become fat. Because so think about it this way. Have you ever seen somebody who went carnivore at all? Not really. Because those things don't produce enough of the chemicals required and hormones required to produce and store large amounts of fat. Again, it's not a calorie thing. It's a chemistry thing. Look at the biochemistry. So the new food pyramid is much better. It would be really, really nice if we actually started talking about hormonal function. We started talking about somatotyping. We started talking about, hey, the reason why the GLP-1s work so well is because it's activating glucagon, which is the thing that tells your body to use fat for fuel. Now, if you understand glucagon, you also understand why all the problems with GLP-1s come in. Oh, the muscle wasting? Well, your blood can only run on sugar, so your body has to make sugar. Oh, you're not eating any? Well, it's going to turn your muscle tissue into sugar. Again, your body will only tear apart muscle tissue if it requires something that's in it. tears apart the muscle tissue so it can get the amino acids so it can make sugar for your blood. That's a reason. Oh, you're low on any number of cofactors, the CoQ10, whatever. You're low on minerals, selenium, magnesium, whatever. It'll rip apart the muscle tissue to get at those. So if you supply your body with amino acids, proteins, minerals, things like that, you don't need to consume extra food because your body will just utilize the fat that's on your body to produce ATP, and then it'll use all the minerals and everything you're putting into it to sustain function throughout the chemical processes. So, that's, if we start actually teaching people that would work out. The problem is that then you wouldn't be sick, fat, and depressed, because guess what would happen? Let's run through depression. Oh, your testosterone levels are higher. Oh, you've got tons more amino acids. Guess what neurotransmitters are made out of? Serotonin is made from tryptophan. Dopamine is made from, amino acids. So all your neurotransmitters are made from amino acids, which is why if you take a depressed person and you give them testosterone, you have them start working out, massive function from neurologic function from exercise. You give them a high amino acid, high saturated fat based diet. So basically a meat based diet. You get them in the sun. This metabolic function is a massive piece of treating depression. Now, the last piece isn't necessarily metabolic. It's, helping people find their purpose, because that's the number one reason people are actually depressed is lack of purpose. Then all of a sudden you get it all treated. But again, it's massively metabolic in nature. Oh, you're too fat. All right, well, we're going to cut out the sugars that are causing your insulin resistance. Oh, look, now we've cut those sugars out. We've eliminated diabetes. We're just the number one. Just Google do this. This is what I have my diabetic patients do. Google insulin resistance and then put anything else in you want. Brain, muscle, sleep, cancer, whatever you want to. It'll be like, oh yeah, insulin resistance greatly increases the damage to the brain, damage to the heart, cardiovascular issues, heart attack and stroke risk, lethargy, erectile dysfunction, like everything. Well, if you cut out the things that cause insulin resistance, one of the massive major roles is sugars and inflammation. Well, if you cut out the breads and all the glyphosate and all the trash that's in the breads, guess what? You've cut out a massive part of the insulin resistance issue, which is going to help with cancer and heart attacks and strokes and depression and anxiety and obesity and all those things. Now, do you understand why they've been lying to you the whole time, telling you that you should eat a whole bunch, this is the food pyramid to make you healthy? And then you turn around like, why are we the sickest nation in the world? Yeah, they've been lying to you to make you sick, fat, depressed, so that you'll buy all sorts of pharmaceuticals. And that's the thing. Now, and here's the deal. There's a lot of great pharmaceuticals. Antibiotics have saved millions of lives. Using them on everybody is a bad idea. These type of things. Opioids are phenomenal. We couldn't be doing the surgeries we do without fentanyl, which is a massive, totally 100% beneficial when used in surgery. But you don't want to use it for fun on the street. It'll kill you because it's hard to regulate. So a lot of the stuff that we've been told is a lie. And it's looking like a lot of it's starting to kind of come out and get turned around, because RFK cares more about people than he does about, profit politics. So this is really cool. But look at the new food pyramid. If you're going to be one of those people who adopts what the government says, and I've always told you, don't listen to what the government says. But in this case, this rare, weird case, we actually have a politician who cares about people. You can. I would 100% make the change to the new food pyramid for everything that we're doing, any type of scheduled out thing. So any nutritionist stuff, any school lunches, anything that's going, mandated across the board like that, the new food pyramid is much, 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 much better. So, I would still, if you're going to do this individually, I'd figure out what your biochemical function is. What's your somatotype? What are your favorite foods? Do you have any hormonal imbalances? And then run through the function of, building out whether it's the best diet for you. Because there's lots of people who need tons of high glycemic carbohydrates, and there's tons of people who need zero glycemic function. I'm one of these guys. Well, there isn't a diet for people. There's a diet for a person, and there's everybody in between. So if you really want to get into it, look up somatotyping, ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph. This is how the body regulates and what happens to the body depending on hormone functionality, how much hormones you produce, how sensitive you are to different hormones. And so as you kind of learn through these things, this is what creates all the changes. This is how the body functions in this. And so then you can start playing with it. You can be like, we're going to use GLP-3s to, change the way your body utilizes fat. We're going to use this peptide, like the 5-MAQ, to shut off your storage of fat and send it over to energy utilization. There's all kinds of cool things that we can do once we understand how the body actually works. And this food pyramid shift is a big, big change in the way that we are, the way that we are approaching the body. And it's a much, much, much more beneficial move than where we were. So it's not perfect, but it's significantly better. And as much as I want to give the credit to RFK, the credit should go to South Park. You guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for your time.